Do you know that the convenient foods we often eat, also known as processed foods, are stoking the fires of inflammation in our bodies? Inflammation is simply our bodies trying to protect us when we are hurt or sick. However, when inflammation hangs around too long, caused by things like processed foods, it can cause real trouble for our health. So, let's uncover the link between processed foods and inflammation. Do you ever get the feeling that cheap, tasty food is bad for us? It certainly is with ultra-processed foods. These foods are pretty simple. They contain stuff in them that is not so great for our bodies if we eat too much of them. Think about it. Unhealthy fats, too much sugar, too much salt. Also, these foods do not have as much fiber and vitamins, that is, the good stuff our bodies require, like natural, whole foods. Now, let us discuss some research that explains this a little further. In one large study in which over 100,000 adults were followed by scientists, they discovered that if people consumed 10% more of these ultra-processed foods, their chances of heart disease and stroke were more than 10% higher. When considering that there was so much unhealthy fat, salt, sugar, and so little fiber that most individuals consumed, the scientists assured this was true. In another study, this time with nearly 20,000 adults, researchers discovered that if people consumed more than 4 servings of processed food per day, they were more likely to die from any cause. And for each additional serving of processed foods they consumed, their risk of dying increased by 18%. Other studies have demonstrated that consuming large amounts of these ultra-processed foods may contribute to weight gain. Inflammation is the body's personal alarm system. It is a normal, healthy response that lets your immune system know something's amiss. So when you get the flu and feel feverish, or you eat something you shouldn't have and get an upset stomach, that's your body showing inflammation. Even the swelling you get when you twist your ankle, that's inflammation at work. To put it simply, a bit of inflammation is vital to our survival. Without it, we wouldn't be around for long. But it's a different ballgame when we talk about chronic inflammation. This kind of inflammation isn't friendly. It's like the alarm never switching off. It begins to harm healthy cells, tissues, and even organs. Over some time, this ongoing inflammation can be a root cause of illnesses such as diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and heart disease. Thus, what's behind the inflammation caused by processed foods? It has to do with the ingredients of those processed foods. Many are chock full of refined carbohydrates and unhealthy fats that tend to cause a sharp spike in blood sugar levels, accompanied by an increase in inflammatory markers in the body. Most processed foods also lack vital nutrients such as antioxidants and fiber that help reduce inflammation. In contrast, they contain preservatives and additives that can trigger an immune response and promote inflammation. It is not just what is in these foods, it is also how these foods are made. These processes strip away important nutrients from whole foods while adding artificial flavors, colors, and chemicals that can be harmful to our bodies. These are some processed foods that create a perfect storm for inflammation to occur and persist in our bodies. What we are talking about when discussing refined carbohydrates is foodstuffs in which most of the natural fiber has been removed. Do you want to know what fiber does? It is crucial to making you feel full and satisfied and to help your body deal with sugar levels. It is like feeding the friendly bacteria that live in your gut. The problem with refined carbs is that they break down faster in our bodies and boy, they're tasty. So sometimes we eat more than we should. This can lead to our bodies storing up extra fat and messing with our metabolism, causing a flare-up of inflammation. Wondering what falls under the label of refined carbohydrates? Here's a quick list for a start. That soft white bread you have for breakfast. White rice is often used in so many dishes. Yummy pasta dishes. All kinds of cereals we enjoy. And yes, even heavenly pastries too. Now, let's talk about these unhealthy fats that are often found in processed foods. Trans fats are artificially produced by adding hydrogen to vegetable oils to make them more solid and increase their shelf life. They're used in many packaged snacks, baked goods, fried foods, and margarine. Studies have shown that trans fats can increase inflammation and the risk of chronic diseases, such as heart disease and stroke. Just like bakers add yeast to bread to make it rise, companies add hydrogen to liquid vegetable oils to make them thicker. This process creates what we call artificial trans fats. Now, these trans fats aren't our friends. They're like little troublemakers in our bodies, causing inflammation. On top of that, they increase our bad cholesterol, known as low-density lipoprotein, and reduce our good cholesterol, referred to as high-density lipoprotein. Consuming these naughty trans fats in foods can cause significant health issues, such as heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. As an example, research revealed that if we acquire 2% more calories from trans fats, our chance of experiencing heart-related conditions increases by a whopping 23%. So, what can we do? The best defense is to avoid processed foods. They may taste good, but they're usually loaded with refined oils and trans fats. We can substitute them with healthier alternatives such as coconut oil or olive oil. They can make our food taste just as good without the health risks. Ever noticed how foods such as beef, pork, hot dogs, deli meats, and sausages are a bit fattier? Well, that's because red and processed meats are typically packed with more saturated fats compared to other foodstuffs that come from animals. These types of foods can cause a spike in our weight if we eat too much of them. There have been some interesting discoveries in the world of science concerning this matter. A while back, researchers thought that cooking these meats at high temperatures created compounds that would cause our bodies to get all inflamed. However, a more recent study surfaced that changed this view a bit. What it discovered was that the association between eating too much processed meat and inflammation might actually be due to the additional weight we gain from overindulging in such foods. However, a diet rich in red and processed meats can lead to weight gain and possibly inflammatory effects, but the science isn't all there just yet. We need studies and research to understand exactly how and why. So, for now, it might be a good idea to keep an eye on how much red and processed meats we're munching on if we want to keep our bodies happy and healthy. That's a wrap. We hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative content.